In this lesson, I'd like to teach you about turnarounds to the 2 chord. In jazz, we often see a lot said about the 1-6-2-5 and that turnaround, but at least in my experience, turnarounds to 2 are a little bit less discussed and just as important. So in this lesson, I'm going to break down a few of my favourite turnarounds to the 2 chord and the most commonly used ones, and I'm going to give you a few examples how you can use them in repertoire and things like that. So if you're new around here, then my name is Jamie Holroyd and I have a free beginner jazz guitar class or course which you can take by checking out the link below. If you'd also like to get a PDF for any of the examples we're talking about in today's lesson, then there's also a link to that in the description below too. So each of these examples that we're looking at today are basically over a long 2-5-1 in the key of C. So what I mean by that is that we have 2 minor 7 for 1 bar, 5 chord, 1 chord, D minor, G7, C major. Okay, now that's okay, and sometimes you may want to keep that 2-5-1 exactly like that, but the problem is, at least to my ears, when you're on that C major 7, it doesn't really go anywhere or do anything, and to sit on that chord for 2 bars can be a little bit boring, and there's so many other options that you can do with that. So let's get on with the lesson and I'll show you what you can do. Okay, so the first example here that we're going to be talking about is going from a C major 7. In this lesson, all the movement is going to happen in the last 2 bars. So we're going to go now from a 1 chord for half a measure to a 2 minor 7, to a 3 minor 7, and then to a 6 dominant 7. So in time, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, and that's already creating so much more movement as a turnaround compared to just sitting on C. There's a few variations of this one that you can do. You could just go 1, 2 minor 7, back to 2 minor 7 again, that'll be 1. Or you could just kind of hold out on that on the E minor 7. There are other variations of that. The one that I've got on the PDF is actually using a bit of flat 5 substitution, and what that means is, rather than going to A7 there, the last chord of the bar, we're going to go to E flat 7, which of course is the same chord using tritone substitution. So let's have a listen to how that one sounds now. So D minor 7, G7, C, like that. Okay, so one more time I'll play the one with tritone substitution just a little bit slower. So 2 minor 7, 5 chord, C major, and then we're going to go to D minor, E minor, E flat, G7, C major, D minor, just like that. The next turnaround to 2, which I'd like to show you, is going from C major to F7, which is the 4 chord. We're going to make this a dominant 4, a secondary dominant, and then we're going to go 6, and then we're going to go, 3, then 6. So 1, 4, 3, 6. So 2, 5, 1, 4, 3, 6, 1, 2 even, 2, 5, 1, 4, 3, 6. Quite a nice one that, isn't it? One of my favourites. So let's hear that maybe against one of the other turnarounds. So the first time I'll maybe do C major, D minor, 1, 2, 3, 6, and then I'll do 1, 4, 3, 6. Okay, here we go. Here's the first example. Second example. So that that's how that sounds. Okay, now the last example which I'd like to tell you about is called the Satin Doll turnaround, or at least I think of it as being that because you find it in the song Satin Doll. So what happens here is you start on the one chord, but you just descend chromatically, and all the chords besides the first one all become dominant. So this one goes 2, 5, 1, flat. And just to go over that a bit slower, one chord, natural dominant 7, flat 7 dominant, and then that could be a 6 dominant in the key of C. Just a chromatically descending bass line really. 2, 5, 1, turn around. And if I play a line like that in triads, you can kind of hear how that works, right? All the chords and the motion is going back to that 2 minor 7th chord. So those are the 5 turnarounds. I think there's 4, isn't there? The turnarounds to the 2 chord, which you should definitely learn in all 12 keys. So just to go over them again, we've got a 2 chord, 5, and then we've got 1, 2 minor, 3 minor, 6. I then wrote out a variation to that, but the next one that's quite different is 2, 5, 1, and then we've got 4 dominant, 3, 6, and the last one is 2, 5, 1, and then we've got the dominant, descending dominants to get us back to the 2 chord. So I hope that you found those useful. Any of those turnarounds can be referenced using single lines as well. You've already heard me use triads for the Satin Doll turnaround, but any of them can be referenced. Now, the easiest way, basically, I think about this when soloing is a couple of tricks and tips here. So the first is that you could basically just, even if someone else is playing one of these other turnarounds, you could be playing your regular 2, 5, 1 in C, and it wouldn't really kind of cause any problems with that. So you could just be improvising. And then somebody else could be playing. And it doesn't really get in the way of what you're playing because, you know, all that harmony is going in the right direction really. And there's a strong tonal centre of C major throughout all of that. Now, if you do want to start getting into the chord changes, the thing that I would begin doing would be in bar number 4 of the long 2-5-1, the second bar of C major 7, where we usually put some kind of A7 there. I would start maybe thinking of D harmonic minor and trying to bring out maybe a short 2-5-1 idea. So you can think 2 minor 7, 5, and then 2 chord, 5 chord. You know, so I'm just trying to create more momentum and more energy as I'm doing that. So that's the first way, basically try and think of that A7 using D harmonic minor and see what you can come up with. As I mentioned, you can use this in single lines, you can use it in comping, and you can also use it in chord melodies, even if a lead sheet just says 2 bars of C major 7. Like for example, Satin Doll, in the last 4 bars of the A section, you might just say 2 bars of C major, which isn't particularly interesting. I would much prefer to have some kind of a cycle back to the 2 chord there. So you could go, and of course the one that most people use is that descending dominant thing. And then you're back at the A section. So that sounds much better in my opinion. You could do the same thing with any tune that has, you know, a turnaround to 2. Like for example, Green Dolphin Street, an A section that's in C major. On the second time A section, it usually goes to the 2 minor 7. But you can do that by using one of the other turnarounds. So you can maybe go. Same thing could be done there. You could use a different turnaround. Same thing applies. So I hope these help you out. If they do, then please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and don't forget to click the like button. Thank you for watching.